The Maverins first spotted Earth through their quantum observation arrays in the distant reaches of what humans called the Orion Arm. The crystalline beings had mapped thousands of worlds across 17 galactic sectors, categorizing each by its development stage and resource potential. When their sensors detected unusual electromagnetic patterns from the third planet of an unremarkable yellow star, they dispatched a routine survey probe. Commander Thryka reviewed the findings with dismissive flickers of his luminous appendages. Another carbon-based civilization, barely into their information age. Primitive communication satellites, rudimentary space stations, no quantum manipulation capabilities. Classify as Stage 2, suitable for resource extraction and potential servant species breeding. The other Maverins in the command chamber pulsed their agreement, their crystalline bodies reflecting the starlight from the observation dome. Earth was young by their reckoning, a freshly emerged civilization that had yet to overcome its dependence on chemical propulsion and physical computing. The primitive species hadn't even attempted to reach beyond their own moon in over 50 years. They were stagnant, trapped by their own limitations. Prepare a standard first contact protocol, Frixno ordered. Their world contains significant heavy metal deposits and abundant water. We'll begin extraction in their northern hemisphere following the subjugation phase. What the Maverins didn't know, what their quantum arrays failed to detect, was that beneath the Antarctic ice shelf, 3 kilometers below the surface, humanity had been building something extraordinary for the past 30 years. Dr. Kaido-chan stood at the central console of Facility Zero, his fingers tracing the holographic schematics floating before him. Around him, 100 engineers and scientists monitored systems that officially didn't exist, working on a project that no government publicly acknowledged. Power conversion efficiency at 97%, reported his assistant Dr. Mlen. The antimatter containment fields are stable. We could initiate a full-scale test sequence within 48 hours. Kaido nodded, his eyes never leaving the rotating model of humanity's greatest achievement, the Phoenix. Not a conventional starship, but something far more ambitious, a vessel powered by the first functioning zero-point energy drive, capable of manipulating the fundamental forces of reality itself. It wasn't designed for exploration, but for survival. We're still months away from full tactical systems integration, Kaido said quietly. Let's hope we have that time. They didn't. The Maverin mothership emerged from subspace 20,000 kilometers above Earth's northern hemisphere, a crystalline structure stretching 17 kilometers from end to end. Its arrival disrupted global communications, created aurora displays visible even in equatorial regions, and sent military forces worldwide into immediate high alert. Humanity expected the standard first contact scenario, communication attempts, cultural exchange protocols, maybe even a peaceful landing. What they got was a planet-wide broadcast transmitted simultaneously on all frequencies in perfect English, Mandarin, Russian, Arabic, and a dozen other major languages. People of Earth, your world has been selected for integration into the Maverin Dominion. Your resources will serve the greater galactic community. Resistance is counterproductive. Prepare for the arrival of extraction teams and population management units. Those who cooperate will be permitted to serve. Those who resist will be eliminated. Within hours, smaller Maverin vessels descended through Earth's atmosphere. They targeted military installations first, precision strikes that neutralized nuclear launch facilities, aircraft carriers, and command centers with terrifying efficiency. Conventional weapons proved nearly useless against their crystalline hulls and energy shields. At Facility Zero, alarms blared as the command center erupted into controlled chaos. Kaido watched the global defense grid collapse on the monitoring screens, each red dot representing another fallen military installation. We need to launch now, urged Commander Sarah Wells, the military liaison to the Phoenix Initiative. Her uniform was perfectly pressed despite having been on duty for 36 straight hours. Every minute we wait, we lose more of our defensive capability. The Phoenix isn't ready, Kaido countered. The weapon systems are untested outside simulation. The crew hasn't completed full integration training. If we don't launch now, there won't be anything left to defend. Sarah cut him off, her voice steady but urgent. The Chinese orbital defense platform just went offline. The Russians have lost half their submarine fleet. Our own forces are reporting 70% casualty rates in direct engagements. President Eleanor Martinez's face appeared on the main screen, her expression grim. Behind her, the Presidential Emergency Operations Center was visibly damaged, emergency lighting casting harsh shadows. Dr. Chen, Commander Wells, the Security Council has unanimously authorized Operation Lazarus. You are to launch the Phoenix immediately with all available personnel and capabilities. This is no longer a test scenario. Kaido felt his stomach tighten. They had prepared for this possibility, of course, run countless simulations of a premature launch. But theory was one thing, reality was another. Madam President, I must officially inform you that launching now carries significant risks. We cannot guarantee it. Doctor, the President interrupted. I've just watched Moscow disappear from our satellite feeds. Beijing is under direct assault. We're getting reports of landing craft in every major city. There are no guarantees left. Sarah stepped forward. We understand, Madam President. Initiating launch protocols now. As the President's feed cut out, Kaido and Sarah exchanged a look that contained volumes. They'd worked together for 7 years on this project, disagreed countless times, but always with mutual respect. I'll prep the crew, Sarah said, already moving toward the personnel bay. You have 15 minutes to get the core systems online. Kaido turned to his team. Initiate emergency power-up sequence. Bypass standard safety protocols per Lazarus contingency. Transfer all research data to the Phoenix mainframe, and then initiate complete facility purge. Throughout the massive underground complex, klaxons wailed as personnel rushed to their emergency stations. The Phoenix sat in its massive launch bay, a vessel like nothing humanity had ever built before. Shaped not by aerodynamic necessity but by the strange requirements of zero-point physics, its dark hull absorbed light rather than reflected it, covered with intricate patterns of circuitry that seemed to shift and move when viewed from different angles. Inside the ship, Commander Sarah Wells strapped herself into the command chair on the bridge. Around her, a hastily assembled crew, the scientists and soldiers who happened to be on duty when the attack began, took their positions at unfamiliar stations. Status report, she ordered, forcing calm into her voice. Main power online, reported Lieutenant Park from the engineering station. ZB drive spooling up to 30% capacity. Defensive systems charging. Navigation systems online, added DR. Rise, a theoretical physicist now serving as their navigation officer. But we have no plotted course. Our course is up, Sarah replied grimly. Straight to the mothership. On the surface, 3 kilometers above them, Antarctic ice shuddered as Maverick scout ships detected unusual energy signatures and moved to investigate. They were too late. In the command center, Kaido initiated the final launch sequence, watching his power levels climb toward the threshold. On his private screen, a message from his wife in Tokyo flashed briefly, their agreed emergency signal. She was still alive. For now. All systems nominal, he reported to Sarah over the comm, launch bay depressurizing. Ice sealing charges armed. The Phoenix's engines ignited, not with flame but with a distortion of reality itself, a rippling effect that caused the air around the ship to bend and twist. The massive bay doors above the vessel slid open, revealing a kilometer-long shaft leading up to the Antarctic surface, sealed at the top with explosive charges embedded in the ice. Phoenix Actual, you are cleared for launch, Kaido announced formally. May whatever gods exist watch over you. Sarah's voice came back clear and determined. Keep the lights on, Doctor. We'll be back for you. With a sound beyond sound, more a pressure wave that caused the facility itself to tremble, the Phoenix rose. The explosive charges detonated in sequence, vaporizing the ice cap above. Through the newly formed channel, humanity's secret weapon ascended toward the stars, accelerating at a rate that would have crushed any conventional craft. On monitoring stations worldwide, those few that remained operational, a new signature appeared. Unexpected. Unidentified at first. The Mavericks, so confident in their assessment of Earth's technological capabilities, were about to learn how dangerous it was to underestimate humanity's capacity for innovation when backed into a corner. The Phoenix burst through the Antarctic ice sheet, trailing steam and debris as it shot into the atmosphere. Earth wasn't as young or as helpless as the Mavericks thought, and Commander Sarah Wells intended to deliver that message personally, straight to the heart of the alien mothership. Humanity's counterattack. The Phoenix tore through Earth's atmosphere like a spear, leaving a trail of ionized particles that radar systems across the planet struggled to track. In the command chair, Sarah felt the ship shudder slightly as they hit the upper mesosphere, then stabilize as the inertial dampeners adjusted to the thinning air. "Exit atmosphere in 5 seconds, announced Dr. Rice, his voice tight with concentrated tension. All systems holding steady. The view screen showed darkness ahead, punctuated by stars and the looming crystalline structure of the Maverick mothership. It hung in low Earth orbit like a massive shard of diamond, facets catching and refracting sunlight in hypnotic patterns. "They've spotted us," Lieutenant Park said from Tactical. "Multiple smaller vessels breaking formation. Intercept trajectories calculated." Sarah nodded, her mind racing through the combat simulations they'd run countless times. None of them had involved actual aliens with unknown capabilities, but the principles remained the same. "Defensive countermeasures online," she ordered. "Activate the shroud." The Phoenix's most innovative defensive system engaged, not a conventional shield, but a quantum field that partially shifted the vessel out of phase with normal spacetime. The Maverick targeting systems, precise as they were, suddenly found themselves tracking a ghost. The first volley of crystalline projectiles accelerated shards of the aliens' own bodies capable of penetrating Earth's most hardened bunkers, passed harmlessly through the Phoenix's partially phased hull. "Shroud functioning at 87% efficiency," reported Lieutenant Park with undisguised amazement. "They can't touch us." "Don't get cocky," Sarah cautioned. "The shroud wasn't designed for prolonged use. We have maybe 10 minutes before molecular cohesion becomes unstable." She studied the tactical display, watching the Maverick ships adjust their formation. They were learning, adapting their approach. Time was already running short. "Set course for their main hangar bay," she ordered. Full acceleration. The Phoenix surged forward, its zero-point drive manipulating the fabric of reality to pull the ship forward rather than pushing it from behind. The sensation was disconcerting. Not the expected G-forces of acceleration, but a strange stretching feeling, as though each molecule of their bodies was being gently tugged forward. Maverick fighters swarmed to intercept, their crystalline structures refracting light in disorienting patterns. They fired energy beams that rippled with colors beyond human visual perception. "Evasive pattern Delta," Sarah commanded. "Charge main particle cannon." The Phoenix twisted through space with impossible agility, leaving bewildered Maverick pilots struggling to adjust their pursuit trajectories. The human vessel's design seemed to defy known physics, accelerating and changing direction without the expected momentum constraints. "Particle cannon at 60% charge," reported the weapons officer, a geophysicist named Dr. Alvarez who'd spent the last 5 years helping develop the weapons system. "Should I fire at partial capacity?" "Hold," Sarah ordered. "We need one clean shot at their hangar shield generator. Anything less than full power might not penetrate." On the tactical display, the swarm of Maverick fighters grew denser. Though their weapons couldn't fully penetrate the shroud, each hit accelerated its degradation. "Shroud efficiency dropping to 73%, warned Lieutenant Park. "Multiple system fluctuations detected." Sarah clenched her jaw. "Divert auxiliary power to maintain shroud integrity." "How long until we're in range of the hangar bay?" 45 seconds, Dr. Rice answered. "But the Mavericks are adapting their attack pattern. They're not trying to destroy us anymore. They're hurting us." Sarah saw it immediately. The fighters had formed a three-dimensional net, not attempting to land killing blows but instead channeling the Phoenix away from the mothership's hangar and toward what appeared to be a specialized docking structure extending from the crystalline hull. "They want to capture us," she realized aloud. "They've never seen our technology before. They want to study it." A slow smile spread across her face. "Let them think they're succeeding. Adjust course to appear like we're being forced toward their capture bay. Charge infiltration teams for boarding operations." Throughout the Phoenix, specialized combat units prepared. Unlike conventional soldiers, these were scientist warriors, experts in xenobiology, quantum physics, and material science, each also trained in advanced combat techniques. Their mission wasn't just to fight, but to understand, to find weaknesses in an enemy humanity had never encountered before. The Phoenix approached the Maverick capture bay, appearing to struggle against the fighter's screen, hurting it forward. At the last possible moment, Sarah gave the order. Full power to engines. Change vector 180 Mark 7. The Phoenix lurched violently, breaking through the fighter screen and accelerating toward the true target, the mothership's main hangar bay. Before the Mavericks could react, Sarah shouted, "Fire main particle cannon. Full power." A beam of concentrated exotic particles, harvested from the quantum foam of space itself, erupted from the Phoenix's forward array. It struck the hangar shield generator with devastating precision. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, like crystal shattering under sonic resonance, the shield collapsed in a cascade of light fragments. "Shields down. We have entry," Lieutenant Park announced triumphantly. "All hands brace for impact," Sarah commanded. Boarding teams to deployment stations. The Phoenix crashed through the unshielded hangar bay entrance, its partially phased state allowing it to pass through physical barriers that would have stopped any conventional vessel. Inside the cavernous crystalline dock, Maverick crew scattered in panic. Clearly, they had never experienced a direct ship-to-ship invasion before. Sarah unstrapped from her command chair. "Lieutenant Park, you have the bridge. Maintain defensive posture and be ready for emergency extraction on my signal." She joined the primary boarding team at the main airlock, strapping a specialized combat exosuit over her uniform. The suit incorporated elements of the Shroud technology, allowing partial phasing through solid matter, particularly useful against opponents made of crystalline structures. "Remember your training," she told the assembled team. "We're looking for their central command node. Intelligence suggests it should be identifiable by increased energy signatures. Primary objective is to locate weaknesses or disable their command structure. Secondary objective is data collection on their technology and biology." The airlock cycled open, and the boarding teams deployed into the alien hangar. The interior of the Maverick mothership was unlike anything human eyes had ever seen. Corridors of living crystal that pulsed with internal light, gravity that seemed to shift direction based on need rather than constant force, and an atmosphere that, while breathable according to their sensors, carried strange particles that made the air itself seem to shimmer. The Mavericks responded quickly, crystalline warriors forming from the very walls themselves, wielding weapons that seemed to be extensions of their bodies. The human boarding teams found themselves in close-quarters combat, their phase-shifting exosuits providing crucial advantages against enemies who had never encountered such technology. Sarah led her team deeper into the mothership, following energy readings that indicated the command center. As they fought through increasingly dense resistance, Dr. Nakamura, their xenobiologist, made a critical discovery. "Commander," he called out, examining a fallen Maverick through his specialized scanner. "Their crystalline structure has a resonance frequency. Their molecular bonds can be disrupted with precisely calibrated sonic waves." Sarah tapped her comm unit. "Phoenix Actual to all teams. Recalibrate your sonic disruptors to frequency 157. 8 kHz. Repeat, 157. 8 kHz. The tactical situation transformed instantly. The modified sonic weapons caused Maverick warriors to literally shatter upon impact, their crystalline forms unable to maintain cohesion under the specific frequency bombardment. Fighting through the increasingly desperate alien defense, Sarah's team finally reached what appeared to be the mothership's central command node, a vast chamber with a pulsating crystalline structure at its center, connected to the ship's systems by thousands of luminous filaments. Inside, they found Frixna, the Maverick commander, surrounded by his highest-ranking officers. Unlike the warriors they'd encountered, these Mavericks were larger, more complex in structure, with intricate internal lattices visible through their translucent bodies. "Impossible," Frixna's voice resonated directly in their minds. "Your species is primitive. You cannot possess such technology." Sarah stepped forward, sonic disruptor aimed directly at the Maverick commander. "You made a critical error. You judged our civilization by what we chose to show the universe. You never considered what we might be hiding." Frixna's crystalline form pulsed with what might have been anger or fear. "This attack is meaningless. Our armada spans galaxies. Even if you destroy this vessel, more will come. Perhaps, Sarah acknowledged. But they'll come knowing that Earth isn't the easy target you thought we were. They'll come prepared for a real fight, not an extraction mission. She raised her weapon, and by then, we'll be even more prepared than we are now. The sonic disruptor powered up with a high-pitched whine. Frixna raised an appendage, possibly in defense, possibly in surrender. You misunderstand, the alien commander projected. We did not come to exterminate your species. We came to harvest what we need. Cooperation would have ensured your survival. On our knees, Sarah replied coldly. That's not how humanity survives. In that moment, Frixna seemed to make a decision. The central crystalline structure pulsed rapidly, sending commands throughout the mothership. Commander! Lieutenant Park's voice came urgently through the comm. The mothership is initiating some kind of self-destruct sequence. Energy readings are spiking throughout the vessel. Sarah didn't hesitate. All teams fall back to extraction points immediately. Phoenix, prepare for emergency departure. As her team retreated from the command chamber, Sarah fired her sonic disruptor directly into the central crystalline structure. It shattered with a sound like 1,000 glass chimes, sending crystalline shards flying throughout the chamber. Frixna and his officers collapsed, their mental connection to the ship severed. The mothership began to break apart around them, massive crystalline sections detaching and disintegrating. The boarding teams raced back through collapsing corridors, dodging falling crystal formations and desperate Mavrin defenders. Sarah was the last to board the Phoenix, diving through the airlock as a section of the hangar collapsed behind her. Go now, she shouted, even before the airlock had fully sealed. The Phoenix's engines roared to life, the zero-point drive creating distortions in space-time that propelled them forward. They burst from the disintegrating mothership just as its power core went critical, erupting in a blinding flash that temporarily overwhelmed the ship's sensors. When the screens cleared, the Mavrin mothership was gone, replaced by a slowly expanding cloud of crystalline debris. The remaining fighter craft, suddenly cut off from their command structure, drifted aimlessly or attempted to flee Earth's orbit. On the bridge, Sarah strapped herself back into the command chair, ignoring the cuts and bruises she'd sustained during the mission. Status report, she demanded. Shroud technology offline, Lieutenant Park reported. ZP drive operating at reduced efficiency. Hull integrity holding at 78%. 14 casualties reported among boarding teams, 37 wounded. Sarah nodded grimly. They had paid a price, but not nearly as high as it could have been. Set course for Facility 0 and open a channel to any functioning Earth Defense Command. When the connection was established, Sarah found herself facing not a military commander but President Martinez herself, her face showing equal parts exhaustion and hope. Commander Wells, the president said, the world is watching what appears to be the destruction of the alien mothership. Is that your doing? Yes, Madam President, Sarah confirmed. The Phoenix mission was successful. We've neutralized their command vessel and collected significant intelligence on their technology and vulnerabilities. For the first time since the invasion began, a smile crossed the president's face. Then on behalf of humanity, I thank you and your crew. Return home safely, Commander. Earth stands because of what you've done today. As the Phoenix descended back through Earth's atmosphere, humanity looked up at the sky with new understanding. They were not alone in the universe, and they were not defenseless. The Mavrins had thought Earth was young, primitive, and easy conquest. They had been catastrophically wrong. And somewhere in the depths of space, when the news of the mothership's destruction reached the Mavrin Dominion, they would face an uncomfortable truth. The species they had dismissed as barely worth noting had just announced its presence to the galactic community. Not with peaceful messages or tentative explorations, but with the unmistakable declaration that humanity would not be conquered. Earth wasn't young. It was just getting started.